And welcome everyone to game number 4 of the MSL Code A Grand Finals, the matchup between BYU Stefanovich and MSL Uncia. This map is it's an older one. It's called Tal'Darim Altar. It has really cool styles on the ground. It has some watchtowers here in the middle, and I would call it the Wings of Liberty equivalent to Whirlwind. It's a 4-player map. Big thing to note here is that there is no... Where the heck am I? Here we are. There is no ramp to your natural. So defending your main is actually a lot harder. However, this right here, relatively easy to take. The problem though is that this third can be attacked from 2 different angles. So it's an older map. It really usually leads to longer macro games as the distances are farther. And it looks like we're actually going to get a lucky break from both of these players as they are both scouting in the right direction, because remember, 4 players means you're not guaranteed in the correct place to scout. So, we're going to see. Looks like we're going to see another Forge-based expand. Not altogether a bad idea. I'd be interested to see how this map plays out in Heart of the Swarm. I don't think I've ever seen a Heart of the Swarm game on this map, as it is no longer in the map pool. We are going to see pool go down first. We have a 13-14 pool with gas. So pool gas, are we going to see a hatch? Doesn't have enough money for a hatch at this point in time. Is it going to save up for one? That's the big question. And that is exactly why Stefanovich is sticking around. He wants to make sure that the hatch is or is not going down. It looks like it is going to be going down. He's starting to save up a little bit of money. Here is going to be a 15, looks like a 14 hatch, 15, or 14, ouch. It's a 14 pool, 15, 16 hatch. Was delayed by a pretty good amount of time, although the probe was lost. He should know. Okay, there's 2 of them. Is he gonna switch him? Is he gonna actually build it? He might not actually build it. Is he gonna build it? I think he's gonna build it. Okay, so we're not gonna see some crazy so usually if you see some more than one drone come out here and try to build, they're serious about wanting to get that expansion down as you're actually delaying it. I've seen a few games where instead of them doing that, they play around and then they 10 pool you, basically. Although, you know, 10 pool would have been scouted. But they do something crazy, like a whole bunch of 1-base Ling aggression. As remember, this is a pretty wide area to defend. Some additional Lings here at the beginning would have been disastrous, but that is what Stefanovich was sticking around for. Still don't like that placement. Also don't like this placement, to be honest. So, pro tip number 3. I don't know what the other 2 were, but when you have engagements in StarCraft, you always want them to be in a concave in your favor. So here, since you can't wall off here because you'll be susceptible to a counterattack there, you want to present the smallest amount of surface area to your opponent while you having the highest surface area for you. So what you end up doing is you want to build this building right here and another one right here. So your units on the inside can get this massive arc. Instead, this building sticks out. More Lings can fit on the side of it. Ooh, it looks like some Lings can actually get in. The cannon, once again, out of position. The wall was not done fast enough. And it will be annoying, although I don't think it will be too disastrous. 1 Zealot, if it does come out. There, 1 Zealot on its way out. It's throwing down a pylon in the main. And actually, 5 Zerglings is actually not a big deal. You can actually fight against that. With mineral walking tricks, mineral walking, you right-click on the minerals, you get unstuck from any situation. You can actually sit around these Zerglings, and if you get in a bad situation, you can actually just mineral walk back, and it gives us really, really small target area for those Zerglings. Another thing you can do is you can spam click bajillion times on one of these mineral patches, and all the probes will actually go and mine on that one thing, which makes it really, really difficult for the Zerglings to actually hit the same thing more than once. And so basically you condense your surface area into just one thing. So that's a little bit what I was talking about before with the mineral walking. It also lets you micro really well, as if soon as Zerglings get a surround on some of those probes, you can actually click back. So actually, good job there from Stefanovich. Handled that really quite well. Very patient getting those units out. I do believe that he blocked off this ramp here as he lost one of those matches earlier with a continued run-bys as that wall was not remade. Here, using this first Zealot to clean up things down here and then make a wall, and taking that other one, once that hole was plugged, to go back home. That was actually a really good move, in my opinion. 3 workers killed, so handled that very well. Unit count. So it's amazing how crazing openings can actually lead to very, very standard mid-games. Both of these players showing their met. I'll be honest, it's one of those dictionary and vocabulary words that I know, I just don't hear it pronounced very frequently. It's like one of those things. I don't know if anyone else had that happen. So here's the situation. I was 9. I read a great book. This is about a kid with a dog that hunted bears. Sounds like a good plot, right? Your 9-year-old kid running around the woods trying to hunt bears. There's this big bear. It was called Old Majesty. Turns out I couldn't pronounce things very well as a 9-year-old child. Yeah, I read it. It was a good book. Found a sequel to it a few years later, and at that point in time, my reading level had increased. I had leveled up. And I realized that that the bear wasn't called Old Majesty. It was Old Majesty. And that ruined the book for me. Because you can't have characters all of a sudden called different things. That's why people get super annoyed about lots of other things. First one that comes to my mind, which I don't know why. Ooh, this is actually a little bit dangerous. But it looks like he does see them. Does he see them? I think he did see them. Excellent call. Is actually the Avatar, The Last Airbender. The movie, I hear, was terrible. And people couldn't pronounce words the same. It's devastating. You know, you grow up calling someone Han Solo, and then they call them Han, or they call him Hoon. It would be very different. I couldn't handle it. Same thing happened. My little sister read the first Harry Potter book. Thought that Hagrid's name was Hagrid. She had a really hard time dealing with the movies. And I feel that's a little bit sad. Here's another thing. This cannon's in a bad place. The other units have the concave. The photon overcharge does go down. There are a few more units here fighting. And it looks like instead, Stefanovich has been broken, at least that front, but the Dark Templar here. How did I not notice that? I was telling you stories about Old Majesty. That's how. This will get taken out here pretty quick. So defensive Dark Templar, not always seen. I would like to see a few Dark Templar warped in and keep Unica on his toes. He does know that these are on the ground, so he should be morphing in. Okay, now he does. Now the warp-ins will not be as effective. Does he even know about this? He does know about this. The photon overcharge is getting a lot of good damage done. And with the Dark Templar here, this has been pretty much shut down, although the tech has been revealed, so it's a little bit painful. The pylon will go down. Some Dark Templar. Oh, it's actually there's no observer. Okay. Whew. There is a spore crawler here. Not as big of a deal. On move command. Attack. Do something. Oh, it's on move command. That's so brutal. It looks like he might get one. No, not even gets one. The move command actually really hurt him there. Was not paying attention. That pains me. So another clever trick. You know how Zealots can plug this hole? Dark Templar can hold this hole, and because no one can see it, it's like a sentry force field, and it just kills things in one hit. Put it there. Hold position. Works quite well. Another thing is that the photon overcharge here allowed this Nexus to actually shoot onto the low ground, which is really interesting. That's one of the reasons I was interested to see a PvP on this map in Heart of the Swarm, as that can cause, or not PvP, a PV anything, aka I wanted to see a Nexus cannon. He's going to be throwing down an expansion. Oh, please, he should be throwing down an expansion. He's got enough money. He's expanding away from his opponent. It's another good move. It's actually the only viable expansion on this map at this point in time. Some additional gateways coming down. No additional real tech, although with the Dark Templar Shrine... Oh my goodness. What did I do? I paused the game. I was spam clicking and clicked under my logo here on this actual pause button. I thought I'd blown up the StarCraft. I was going to be very sad. Interesting thing here, he's not remade that cannon here. If you made it right here... Actually, the building placement is not all that awesome. If the building placement was ideal, you put one right here, and it can shoot all those roaches out in the front while staying safe. And cannons, they actually have decent DPS, they just die really quickly. Particularly, it feels like, in comparison to Brood War, where the strategy for my friends were build enough cannons that you survive all the computers, you know, all the computer enemies' units while turtling, And then when they run out of minerals, you go and kill them with some carriers. That was most of my strategies in Brood War. I was terrible at that game. Oh, how things have changed. Good job there, taking out the Changeling. They're quite ugly. Also, Changelings, yeah, you should read the fan... I don't know if it's a fan fiction or an official fiction. It was a short story before StarCraft 2 came out. There was a few of them. One of them was about Banelings. One of them was about Changelings. I really think that you should go check that out. It was a really good story, actually. And it makes you feel bad for anyone that happens to find a Changeling in their base. They're much less fuzzy in that story than they are in Carbot's animations. So a little fleet of mutas, not quite a murder, not going to be enough to take out tons of stuff, although with no stalkers here. Okay, when I say no here, I meant none right here. They should be able to defend. Ooh, he's going to actually lose lots of probes to this. He's reacted, he's moved in completely the wrong direction. All of these probes are going to go down, and now these mutas have absolutely paid for themselves. He's going to throw down that photon overcharge, although it's a little bit too late, as lots have been lost. Where in the world? Oh my goodness! Can you say ninja? Let me see. There he is. Excellent hiding spot. That was amazing. That was awesome. My hat is off to you. Oh, actually, I don't wear hats. I think they make me look funny. But if I did, I'd be tipping my hat to you, because that's what gentlemen's do. Gentlemen's? Well, fail on my part. Photon overcharge. It turns out you should wait for that to expire before you come and attack again. Could you lose a decent number of these mutas? That could be a big problem. But yeah, hats off for the hiding of units. That's actually a big deal in PvP, especially, as if you don't know where your opponent's probes are out on the map, and that's one that's really easy to miss, even if you're looking at the minimap. They're able to throw proxy pylons down everywhere, and that becomes a huge issue later in the game. Stefanovich does not see that that's going down, because remember, that's only visible to other people in the game and the player, not the other opponents. 3 Dark Templar. Is he going to go for anything important? He's just going to take down the Evo chambers. I don't know if that's actually the greatest choice right there. I would have gone a little bit farther. It's okay. They're going to still get a decent number of things killed. I'd actually just like to see him pick up and run away. Killing Zerglings with the Dark Templar, it's a little bit like trimming loose threads on your shirt with a lightsaber. Yes, it'll get the job done. It's just kind of an expensive way to do it. This will get taken out, and this Dark Templar is not going to be able to take that down. How sad for that Dark Templar. Interesting placement of the buildings here. Would not be surprised at all to see some sort of a wall off with gateways here. Checking out, we do see the robotics bay is on the ground. We do see no Colossi yet. We do see a few Archons. Dark Templar, morphing into more Archons. Remember, there's 2 ways to go for Archons nowadays. You can go for the more mineral-heavy Dark Templar method, or the gas-heavy High Templar method. And it looks like he went for the Dark Templar, and it could be working out pretty well for him. He's got not very much gas, so it looks like he's going to be spending all that excess gas on what wants to be Colossi. I'm sure he wants to build Colossi with this right now. Sure of that. Come on. Prove me right. Nothing? Okay, so moving on. Worker count. Big deal. Down by 13. That's a non-zero amount. So, good job to continue scouting the rest of the map. What do we got? The units, 24 mutas, that's actually that has approached and has achieved what we call the murder of mutas. They're all just hanging out here in the back. Photon overcharge will not be able to stop this. This number of mutas actually does real DPS. Look at the number of units just vaporizing. There's no Colossi in this army. There's none in production. There's producing 3 at a time, but there's nothing that I feel like Stefanovich is able to do at this point in time without bringing his whole army back. It could turn into a crazy base race, as that's almost all of the standing army of Unica. The question is, who can get to whose base faster? Going to be spawning a whole bunch. Where the heck did they go? Did you recall? He did recall. So the Mothership Core was with that. He is able to recall and defend that, but at what cost? The cost was all of the workers. So it's basically no workers do all the workers. So 29 to 67 is what it actually is. I think actually in a base race, Stefanovich might have won. It's hard to tell that one actually, but I think he might have. I think he was a little bit afraid. Swarmhost, good offensive units if you have anything to back them up. Terrible defensive units. As soon as the locusts are done, these are just expensive punching bags. And a huge fleet of stationary overlords with really ugly spikes, as if they weren't ugly enough already. He is going to throw down that expansion again. Let's see. Okay, so at this point, Stefanovich definitely behind. Mostly in workers. If he hadn't lost workers, I would say that he's actually in a really good position. Should not engage that. Unica should run away immediately. Okay, he does. With the Archons, though, they get so much splash damage off on those mutas. And an excellent blink forward. That could actually cause a lot of pain to Stefanovich. To Unica, although Unica is now... What is he replacing with? He's now just going for mass swarm hosts. This is actually bad. You just need to run away from this fight. Run away from this fight. Okay. Once the locusts are off creep. No! No, no, no. You do that so many times, Stefanovich. That hurts me. Oh, that hurts me. And now they're spawning again. That's painful. So basically all these Protoss units, yeah, good call there to recall. Good call to recall. Huh. It does work. He does survive. The problem, though, is there's 13 swarm hosts on the map, and there's going to be a whole bunch more mutas as well. The mutas, not going to be as hard to deal with, especially with the Archon Stalker composition. The problem is going to become, what do you do with the swarm hosts? My opinion, you transition, you go to Sky Toss, or you make sure you start focusing down all of these Overseers and start doing lots of Dark Templar. Because if you can focus down all the Overseers, the Locusts aren't going to be able to fight the things they can't see. Seems pretty obvious. I think it is pretty obvious. But it'll be hard to actually pull off. This is, once again, approaching murder of mutas. We have 25 mutas on the map. That's enough actual DPS to do real damage. Look at how fast the units go down. The problem is the economy. Stefanovich just has no economy. He's just blink forward, blink forward. I think blink is actually on cooldown. No, it's not. Surprised he did not try to blink and catch those units off guard. A little bit of a weird base placement. I would have gone here, but it's fine. We do what we want around here. Some more Archons. Archon's not a bad choice. Do we have shield upgrades? We don't. But with +3 weapons, Archons do 47 damage to biological, and they do splash. That's actually a really big deal. And surprised that there's not been any more attempts at counterattacks. Although, with the threat of the mutas, he really needs to deal with these mutas before he can do anything. I would like to see some Dark Templar just kind of thrown around. Just kind of... The threat of Dark Templar do the same thing that the threat of mutas do. Unless you have detection, you can lose to them. You have to have your army. They pull back armies. They ships cross in the night. That could have been actually really, really bad. Remember, Swarm Hosts are terrible at defense. They're just so bad. The Stalkers in the front, Dark Templar and Zealots in the back, less than ideal, but they are going to be able to focus fire down most of these units, and it looks like the Swarm Hosts are going to be pulled back. So this could go really well for Unica. If he is able to pin these down, he instead just retreats. Stefanovich does, which is actually the exact right thing to do. But he needs to get more damage done. He took out one base. That's good. He needs to take out like 2 or 3. Locusts do so much damage. Although just shield damage at this point, so it's not a big of a deal. Where are the mutas? Where did the mutas go? They're just hanging out here. Broodlords. The transition to Broodlords. Hive was completed not terribly long ago. It was actually one of the first attacks down here at this base that the Hive finished up. And now, how do you attack Broodlord Swarm Host Muta? That's a difficult question. You have to deal with the mutas separately. You have to peel them off, and then you have to go in and engage the other units later. Or you could just do Void Race and Phoenixes, because that would kill most of them. Blink back with the Stalkers. Blink back with the Stalkers. Blink back with the Stalkers. I'm not going to blink back with the Stalkers. The single Archon and the Dark Templar take care of that entire base. He needs to take care of those mutas. He needs to blink. Okay, he does. He does get a few more of them. The Broodlords here lumbering their way over. They are going to be able to get here, but I don't think they're going to be able to save the base. Not at all. Goodbye, base. Oh, that's bad. Okay. Oh, the Archons. They explode so fast. The green bar is just as long as the blue one. But trust me, they're different values. Oh, you see, he could have seen the creep. He was very close. Okay, he thinks he's got him isolated on a few bases. He does not, though. Interesting choice to switch here. Stefanovich probably not going to be able to deal with the huge number of roaches that'll be coming out here in just a moment. Archons do really well. Dark Templar also do pretty well. There's not a high enough Archon count. Ooh, no observer. There's no way to see all of those on the ground right here. Ooh, he's going to move him right in the middle. That's really bad. Okay, he's going to take out a good number of those. But they are going to actually trap an Archon. That's quite painful. Once again, on move command. Losing lots of units to move command. That's really annoying. He's going to be retreating. This Archon in the back needs to stay alive. That's a key part of this army, with only 2 of them left. Good job here with the Dark Templar. Continuing to keep those units away. The roaches here. So the tech switch has been identified. I just think that Stefanovich has been too broke for too long. He's had a couple of really good engagements. And he's done some good damage, but it's not been enough. And I think that this will be the killing blow right here. This army will probably go down. He needs to blink those stalkers out of there. So they will get away with all of the most of the stalkers. But between the Broodlords, why is he running right along the worst? He curled around where the Broodlords could continue to shoot him. And that's really, really, really painful. He's going to blink and get away, but there's not enough money to replenish, whereas Unica has tons of money and can easily replenish. I was just looking at units. Yeah, he does have a decent number of workers left, but the problem is, what do you do against this army? The only thing that was keeping that army back was that threat of that force pulling back and around. He should have kept dancing. He a little bit overcommitted right here as he moved in, and he got himself trapped, and it looks like he's going to be paying for that in just a moment. Some Dark Templar, good choice. Gonna keep scouting around.
Base is under attack.
But how do you defend against this? The answer is, or would have been, Mothership Core. Photon Overcharge actually outranges Broodlords, so that would have helped out a lot. Going to the wrong places. See, he's going to the base that I would have gone. Proof that more than one person thinks that's a good place. Oh, this is painful to watch. The blink is on cooldown. He can't get away. He does manage to completely get away. I'm surprised he hasn't pulled all the probes yet. The probes, really important to his army. You know, the continued funding of additional army. Templar Archives is now done. Storm, I don't think is going to have any time to complete. I'd like to see these Dark Templar go all over the place, but I understand his APM is here. Checking out the APM, both players playing over 100 average. That's quite quick, actually. That's actually really quite quick. Oh, he's going to blink right under. That's dangerous. The Locusts were right underneath as well. And that's going to be a killing blow to all those stalkers. I think we're going to see the game end just momentarily. Ouch. For the Dark Templar. They're going to get some more damage done. They do take out another base. Good job, team. With the Roach counterattack here, all the stalkers gone. There are still Storm Hosts. There are still Broodlords. And 23 food to 174. They're all Zealots. Too bad you can't make those into a Super Zealot like you can with Archon, or with Dark Templar. And I think this is going to go, it's pretty obvious which way this is going to go. So good job from Stefanovich holding off that early pressure. I think he did a lot better that round. Maintaining that wall, a little bit better use of the Photon Overcharge, although I think it could have gone down earlier. And good micro, keeping a lot of your workers alive. The problem came with how you handled that first attack from the Mutas, where you got down in worker count, and I feel like you played from behind. You stretched it out very well, but I think that was the killing blow, or the first chip of the killing blow. So good game from Unica. Looks like he's going to not let the momentum swing in favor of Stefanovich, but remember, we have at least another game, as now it's 3-1, and it's a best of 7. So stay tuned for what may be the final